Thank you so much for joining me on your afternoon off work.
You're very, very welcome.
I hope you've been enjoying the first week of term so far.
Yep, it's been fun. They're working hard, which is always good.
So thank you for joining me. I'm going to have a great chat with Charlie, who is one of our class yoga teacher training graduates. So for everyone who might be watching this, Charlie, would you just give us a little bit of your background?
Yeah, sure. So I have been a teacher in schools for the last, nearly 20 years. So I started as a secondary English teacher and have worked in schools in Hereford and Wales and Swindon. I've worked also in SEN schools and PRUs, and currently I'm working in a primary school teaching year 5 and 6. So vast experience of children of all ages and all abilities and the whole range.
Loads of experience. Yeah, I kind of forgotten actually you had that much that much varied experience.
Been busy 20 years.
But I bet it all contributes to, what you do now into your work, both as a primary school teacher and in yoga.
Yeah, I think over the last few years, it's become really apparent that actually children benefit from having a wider range of tools to be able to help control emotions and be able to regulate themselves. And obviously, yoga is exceptional at being able to do that and being able to work through those postures and ideas on the mat. They can then transfer that into their everyday life. So yeah, it's invaluable to get them to do both school and
absolutely. Yes, right, absolutely. And we'll get some of Charlie's stories and experiences of yoga in the classroom very shortly. But you're also a trained yoga teacher. Yes?
Yes, I am. Yeah. So I trained with Orange Yoga from Cheltenham. And so I've been teaching for the last, year or so in the local area. And that's been lovely working with adults. But obviously my heart also lies with children. So that led me to look at, children's yoga teaching too.
Yes. So you came to do our course, was it last year?
It was, yes.
Last year.
I know.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Yeah. It all molded into one with all
I know. Losing track of time.
Yeah.
And you did it amazingly on the course. I think your experience obviously was just shining through so much, that confidence that you have and that connection, that way of speaking to children. You already have that dialed. And I think you'd already started sharing a bit of yoga with kids anyway. What did you actually gain from doing the course then?
The course gave me a really brilliant structure to work from. It gave me, with the Cepha method, the ability to go into a yoga class with children and understand, how to settle them straight away, and then energize, and then focus, and then have that relaxation at the end. It meant that I didn't have to always stick to my script, and I could meet the children where they were on that day and be able to adapt and change depending on what the children needed within the class. So it really helped, because I taught my children after school as an after school club within school. And so some days they were really excitable and some days they were tired. And it meant that I could adapt and change, and being able to be taught various postures around those areas, it meant that I had that confidence to be able to do that. So it was incredible to be able to be given the tool to be so flexible. And as we know, it's really important to give children something that they need on that day, and I could therefore be able to do that with them.
Yes. And I think that's the key with this training, or the crux of it really, isn't it? We can't plan and deliver exactly what we plan, because we don't know what those kids are going to need until we get in front of them. So yes, that's what I try to guide everybody through, isn't it? And how we can become more adaptable and yet remain incredibly confident in our ability to teach them what they need on any given day.
It's that meeting them where they are on that day, isn't it? Like, where are you? And therefore we develop the lesson that fits for you today.
Yes, absolutely. So what has been happening since the course, both in schools and out of schools? How have you been getting on with the kids' yoga?
Very exciting. So I obviously have been doing my children's yoga class within school, which has been fantastic. Obviously, with the COVID rules within school, it's been with my class. But actually what I've seen huge changes to the children who have been coming week on week. So they have become stronger, they've become more confident. Some children have been able to relax more, or kind of become aware of their emotions and how they're feeling that day, and adapt accordingly. But also I have taught private children's classes through my AtWestcottage company on a Saturday morning. So I've looked at mini yogis, which is from 4 to 6 year olds, and junior yogis from 7 to 11 year olds. And that's really lovely to be able to separate that groups, because obviously the training's taught me the difference between anatomy and physiology of those two age groups. And it's really important that actually they have postures that are suitable for them at that time, for their developmental stage. And it's been really lovely watching the two different classes and how they embrace things in different ways. And so, yeah, that's been absolutely lovely. And my new term starts in a week's time as well. So I'm so excited to be able to meet new yogis. Yay!
Oh, fantastic. We'll get the details from you shortly.
Thank you.
Going back to your in-school teaching. So you've just been teaching your class. Is it in the school day, or have you been doing that as an after-school class?
Our school's really kind of proactive in terms of sport and PE and activities. And so we deliver an after-school package that's free for parents. So there's no cost behind it. So it means that I could deliver yoga every week for them. And so children were happily to come along and join with that. We've also talked this year about me working with our reception children and getting yoga in early to support with the physical strength with the children, especially when it comes to writing. So ensuring that they've got the postures that build on their shoulder strength and their arm strength and their wrist strength, so that they are then ready to be really good writers later on.
Yeah, so good. We talk about this quite a bit on the course, don't we? How important supporting and stabilizing the shoulder girdle is for those really little young ones before they start to write, so that they have that strength and coordination when they're asked to start writing so early on in their education.
As a teacher in a Senko, I'll ask parents now if their children are not struggling with writing but finding it more challenging. I say, now, did they crawl? And if not, they should try some yoga, because it will help strengthen their arms and make it a little easier.
Yes. And what you were saying about noticing the difference of those children who come week on week.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference, doesn't it? I mean, we can offer so much benefit in just one class. We never know the seeds that we're planting, how much a kid is going to get from a breathing technique or the guided relaxation or just a few key movements. But it's when they do it week on week that we can see their progress, but they can see their progress as well.
They can. It's really lovely. So I had a group of year sixes who were saying, oh, look, I've balanced. I've done it this week. And you're like, yes. And one of them, it was a case that she learned her left from her right during the class throughout the period of time.
So good.
We had a stage where it would be the Thursday sock or this sock on her feet. Yeah. But now she was like, oh, I know which one's which. And so it's not just a case of it opens up so many more avenues of learning as well. And surprisingly, different children, I wouldn't have put the same children together normally within a group. And so them coming together, it was lovely watching them start to form social groupings too. They become like the yoga crew, and they loved it. And one day it was so sunny, we did yoga outside on the field. And so it was lovely watching them show pride when the other parents came to pick up their other children, like, check us out, we're doing yoga. It was really, nice. There was a sense of pride in what they were doing as well. It was fantastic.
It's almost a bit like a level playing field, isn't it? Because it's usually quite a new thing for most of them. And you might have, the athletic kids and then the non-sporty kids. Or like you say, kids who wouldn't normally socialise together, all coming together and finding this new interest, something new and exciting and fun that they can all do.
Absolutely. And I think all of them really loved the fact it was non-competitive. There was no celebration that you did something better than somebody else, or, it was very much, what can you do today? And does that feel good? Then that's perfect. That's all we ask from you today. And it's like, and especially Shavasana, oh my goodness, it's like their favourite part of the whole class, because they could snuggle up and just have some space and some time, which quite frankly, lots of children just don't get, do they?
They don't get.
All day, every day, constantly. And to be able to then just lie down, they loved it. And I allowed them to bring in some, Shavasana buddies and Shavasana blankets. So that made things a lot more snuggly.
Lovely. Nice.
It's like, no, we have to get up now. You've got to go home.
But then they know what to do at home. They can do that on their own just before bed, or even when they're in bed, or they can teach their siblings, can't they? So they take it outside of the classroom, don't they? Outside of the yoga room.
Especially with the guided meditations, because I notice there's a difference between the younger children and the older children. The younger children quite like a story-based guided meditation, and they, sometimes they'll sit transfixed, but they'll all be snuggled up and relaxed. Whereas the older ones quite like the body scan, being able to kind of attach something to their body to help them relax. So, I mean, these are tools that are perfect for going into teenage years, ready for exam time, or any stressful period of their life. They can tap back into this to be able to use it.
Yes. So are you using any little bits of yoga and mindfulness inside the classroom, just as little breaks at all?
Yeah, I will quite often do a moment of breathing. So we will look at our breath, we will look at grounding. Sometimes we'll do a little chair yoga where we can do some twists and things like that. So yeah, it's also very much been brought into my classroom. And also it's not just the postures, it's the yoga philosophy as well. And I talk to the children about being kind, non-harming, ahimsa, and looking after each other. And actually we're all part of something that's very much bigger. And also we talk about reacting, that sometimes we need to sit with things, feel what we're feeling, and then we react. So it's giving them those tools to be able to regulate their emotions, not necessarily through yoga postures, but through the other aspects of yoga too.
Yes. It's a multi-layered practice, isn't it? I think people looking into it from the outside who don't have much experience would just see it as a physical practice, I suppose, or relaxation time, but there's so many more layers to it, aren't there?
Oh, it's amazing. And actually we looked at Hinduism last year as part of RE, and so we had a little book and we were talking about yoga. So we did yoga postures along with the yoga gods and things like that, and the children loved it, to be able to understand where that links in other parts of the world as well. So yeah,
fun,
cultural capital.
And I think that's fascinating and so good to look into, and yet anybody can do it from any culture, any religion, any background.
Exactly. It's accessible to everybody. Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm so happy to hear that your school are really open to it, and hopefully you'll start to share a bit more different classes as well. But when are your new classes starting then? So your studio out of school classes?
Yes, so I have, it's really exciting. So there's a lovely yoga studio in a place called Farringdon called Lotus Retreat, and I will be starting to teach there on Friday the 17th at 4 p.m. So that's for junior yogis. And then in my local village hall next to my school in Kempsford Village Hall on Saturday the 18th, I will be doing mini yogis at 9 and junior yogis at 10. So they're 45-minute classes.
Perfect.
And everybody gets a very lovely little Philip the Yogi Bear, who's a new yogi to the AtWestcottage. Yeah, so he becomes their Shavasana buddy. He's very cute.
I love that idea. That's so good, Charlie. Do you have a website, or where's the best people to send people if they want to go and check out your classes?
So it's atwestcottage.com. Just have a look, come and find me. So the website is 80atwestcottage.com. But come and have a look. There's a children's yoga page. You can have a look at what's on offer.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much, Charlie, for chatting. It's been great to catch up with you and find out
it's lovely to see
how you've been getting on. Yeah, no, I love catching up with the old students. And for taking time out on your afternoon off. I know things will be crazy busy on this first week back term.
Yeah, lots of paperwork. And then yoga.
That's something nice to look forward to. So if anybody watching is interested in finding out more about the Class Yoga Teacher Training, the course that Charlie did, we have a new info session. So head over to our brand new website, classyoga.com/TT. That will take you straight to the info page, all about the teacher training course. And you can sign up to watch the free info session where I go into more detail about how the course works and all the great stuff that happens on it. So classyoga.com/TT. Thank you again, Charlie.
Thank you.
And thank you for everybody for watching. as the author.